What is going on, guys? I am Racing here with the breaking news. As you probably know already, Jeff Hardy has been released from the WWE. This is Racing from Wrestling News, and we're going to be talking about all that's happening with Jeff Hardy in just a moment. That's right. This was not a live stream that was planned. As you know, we do live streams. We do one show in a day. That's a 30-minute show where we talk about the various news of the day and we do a watch along, at night. This is a spontaneous live stream that we had to do because of the breaking news that's just coming in. Jeff Hardy has been let go from the company. Now, if you guys don't know what actually happened, Jeff Hardy was sent home this past weekend. It was a live, non-televised show that was taking place in Edinburgh, Texas. And he was sent home midway through the show. He was actually in a tag team match, in a six-man tag team match, where he was teaming up with Drew McIntyre and King Woods, and he was wrestling the Bloodline. And during that match, he appeared to be sluggish. He was not selling his moves very well. He was not selling their moves well. I mean, he was not able to perform. He just appeared sluggish. He appeared out of the match. He was not focusing at all. And, that's why they had to get him out of there. The security came in and they helped him out of the building through the crowd. And that's how bad the situation turned out to be. And, what we know now is that Jeff Hardy has been released. Fightful.com has confirmed it. WWE.com has confirmed it. It's all over the news right now. Jeff Hardy has been let go from the company, and we're going to talk all about it. First, let's take a look at the moment that actually is responsible for everything. Let's take a look at the fan footage that has emerged, which shows how out of the scene Jeff Hardy seemed to be, how he looked to be very dazed. He did not look like he was able to focus on the match. He looked like he was not even present in the ring while this match was going on. I'm going to divert your attention to the fan footage to see what actually went wrong during that match. Just a second, guys. And as you probably saw in the video right there, Jeff Hardy was actually taken out of the building through the audience, through the fans. And that's something that, if you've been watching WWE for a while and you know how they operate, they're super professional. They try to maintain the distance between the fans and the wrestlers. But that was not the case. He was sent home midway through the match. And, and now what we know is that he has been released. It's crazy. Yep, good evening. Good to see you. Good morning, wherever you guys are from. Good to see all of you. David, I know it's crazy. It's heartbreaking. Jeff Hardy has been let go from the company. Now, Sean Ross from Fightful.com, he is reporting that Jeff Hardy was actually offered help from the company. He was offered help if he wanted any rehab to be done, anything like that. And Jeff Hardy declined. He said he did not want any help. And you know what, guys? We don't know if this was a violation of those drug policies. Maybe we don't know if he was using a substance. Anyhow, we don't know any of that. None of that has been disclosed. None of that has been revealed yet. What we know is that during that match, he just seemed very, very out of place, and they took him out of the match through the fans, through the crowd, and now he has been released. WWE offered him help. They made sure if he wanted any help, if he wanted any rehab, anything like that, he would get it while he was still under contract. He said no. He said, I don't want any help. And WWE had no option but to let go of Jeff Hardy. It's crazy. It sounds absolutely insane. And it is crazy because we know Jeff Hardy has a history with these drug problems and with these, substance abuses, and he's had an addiction problem. We also saw a very brief storyline between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus, during the whole peak of the pandemic last year. And it was a sad storyline. But you know what? Watching that storyline, I was happy that Jeff Hardy was able to perform that storyline with this sense of pride in himself that, hey, you know what? Maybe, I was a part of that lifestyle earlier, but now I've gone through it. I'm over it. I'm way ahead of it. And that thing is in my past, and I can actually come out here and make fun of it, because I'm not a part of it anymore. I'm not addicted anymore. But sadly, it seems like he's still dealing with some problems. It is crazy. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, they've been a part of all of our childhood, and it's crazy to see whatever is happening right now. Prayers for Jeff, that's right. And Jeff Hardy's most recent substance abuse, and again, we don't know if the recent release that we're seeing from Hardy is a result of substance abuse or not, but the most recent substance abuse related arrest of Jeff Hardy came right before the pandemic in October of 2019 when he was charged and he was arrested with driving while impaired. And again, just like I said earlier, after his arrest in 2020 now, he was booked in a storyline with Sheamus, which was about the demons that have haunted Jeff Hardy for a long time. And Jeff Hardy repeatedly called Sheamus repeatedly called Jeff Hardy a junkie throughout the storyline. We don't know what's happening here. We don't know if the recent release is a result of a substance abuse or not. It seems like there is some kind of an addiction that has played part here. There is some kind of rehab that he needed, which he refused. He declined. He said he did not need any rehab, which is why he was let go. But again, guys, if you think about what we've seen in the past, we have seen the same thing happening with Umaga. And Umaga also had his own demons, also had his own problems. He was offered help from the WWE. He was offered rehab or whatever help he needed. Umaga also declined. The same way Jeff Hardy declined, Umaga also declined help from the WWE. And the same thing Jeff Hardy's done. And sadly, we never saw Umaga make it out of his demons, make it out of the problems that he was facing. And he's no more with us. We hope the best for Jeff Hardy, but from what we're seeing right now, it's just it's horrible. It's insane. It really, my heart hurts for Jeff Hardy, not just because we won't be seeing him on TV now. That's secondary. But firstly, it's because of the demons that he's fighting with in his real life. It's horrible. And Jeff Hardy injured himself so many times during his time. That's right, and he has been released. Good to see you, Samitr. Yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy. And guys, if you remember, during the TNA days, Jeff Hardy also made an appearance while he was under the influence. He was not, not in control of his own body. He was somewhere else. This was the match against Sting at TNA. And that is a match that, I believe that people still, think about. And I know that Sting still thinks about it because that was a unforgettable night. It was a horrible night, one of the worst nights in Jeff Hardy's career. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to divert your attention to that very match where Jeff Hardy showed up while he was under the influence of a substance, maybe weed. So I'm going to divert your attention to that. And as you can see here, Jeff Hardy is making his entrance. He's making his way to the ring, and you can see he's not looking like he's in control of himself. He's looking like somebody else. He's looking like some other person right here. And it's sad. Jeff Hardy has dealt with substance, abuse for a long time. He has dealt with his demons for a long time, and the demons have sadly come back to haunt him. It seems he was, as said earlier, he was offered help from the WWE, and help he refused. This is a very similar situation to the what we've seen in the past with Umaga, who was also offered help from the WWE, but Umaga also refused help, and he was let go from the company. And we are seeing the very same thing here with Jeff Hardy. It is sad. It is heartbreaking. Again, this footage right here you're seeing on your screens is from his match against Sting in TNA wrestling, which again, this was a match where he showed up under the influence. He was not in control of himself, his own body. He was out of somewhere else. And we saw something very similar transpire this past weekend on Saturday in a tag team match. He was booked in a six-man tag team match with Drew McIntyre, and the match was against and Drew McIntyre and Xavier Woods. I'm sorry, and the match was against the Bloodline and Jeff Hardy. He was. Yeah, I know. I'm out of words too right now. Thank you, Hardy. That's all we can say, and we can only pray for Jeff Hardy. It is crazy. Yeah. Why did WWE do that? It seems like he had he had some problems going on. He was helped out of the building during his match. We have some fan footage here from the very same match that I'm talking about right now, where Jeff Hardy just seemed out of the picture. He seemed like he was not in control of himself again. And let's take a look at that video together and see what actually went wrong. So let's take a look at the fan footage. All right, so this is the match in question. It took place this past Saturday night in Texas, and it was this match. It was Drew McIntyre, it was Jeff Hardy, it was Kofi King, it was Xavier Woods versus Roman Reigns, the Usos, the Bloodline. Six-man tag, and it's been said that Jeff Hardy just seemed out of place. He just seemed like he did not know what was going on. He was sluggish. He was not able to deliver his own moves. He was not able to sell the wrestlers' moves. He just seemed out of place. And right now you can see he's standing on the apron. And so far, so good, right? If you look at this match, so far it seems so good. So what went so wrong? What went so wrong? Again, guys, so for those of you who are joining in, this is the match that caused everything, that caused all the problems, that made all the difference. This was the match that took place this past Saturday in Texas. And it was during this match that Jeff Hardy was escorted out of the building and he was sent home. Mid-match, he was taken out of the ring. He was rushed backstage through the crowd. Not even through the stage, but through the crowd, which is very unorthodox, very unheard of. And the security helped Jeff Hardy backstage because it seemed like he was just out of place. He had no idea what was going on, and that is why they made the decision to take him out of the building and send him home for his own good. Following this match, okay, now you can see Jeff Hardy has been tagged in. So let's see what actually went wrong here. So it looks like he's trying to perform a move from the second turnbuckle. So far, so good. Seems a bit slow, right? Seems a bit slow. What do you guys think, though? Do you feel like Jeff Hardy, this is very abrupt from the WWE? Do you feel Jeff Hardy deserved one more chance? He deserved, it was just one night. Maybe, he had a bad night or something. Do you feel like he should have been given one more chance? He should have not been released so suddenly and so abruptly? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. But as you can see, this is the match that caused everything, that caused all the difference, made all the difference. This is the match where Jeff Hardy was taken out midway through the match. He was sent back home because they said his performance was sluggish. He was not able to deliver. And that's why they sent him back home. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. It is crazy indeed. And as you can see, Jeff Hardy is laid out. And from the moment that he was actually put down, he hasn't able to get back up. Let me look at the video right here. They put him down, and he has not been able to get back to his feet. They're putting on moves, but he is not getting up. There's obviously something wrong. And they are trying to make the best of the situation. The Usos are being slow. They're putting on some double tags. But no, it's not working out. Jeff Hardy is just not getting up. Yeah, you can tell just from the look on the face of the Usos, and maybe Drew McIntyre too. They know that something's wrong. All right, Jeff Hardy's finally up here. Yeah, this whole match reminds me of what we saw in TNA, a match between Jeff Hardy and Sting, right? Remember that match? It was crazy. This reminds me a lot of that. And that was a very dark time in Jeff Hardy's career. It was a very, very dark time. It was a hard time, a tough time. And I just have no words because, guys, I made a post. We made a post on our Instagram not too long ago, right? This is a post that we made on Instagram. It says Jeff Hardy opens up on his 2009 arrest, and this was a post that we made just about a week ago, right? Just about a week ago. And in this interview that Jeff Hardy did, he said that I was ordering pills illegally in 2009. This is what Jeff Hardy says, that he was ordering pills in the mail and he got busted. And SWAT team comes to his home. He and his wife and his little dog, they were all home, and then SWAT team just comes rushing in, and he was busted. He was busted for ordering pills illegally, and he felt like his life was over. He went to jail that weekend. It was a mind blowing experience for him. He was terrified and he felt that his life was over. But he said that after 2009, his wife, she gave birth to their child, and that was a turnaround. And he's never looked back. He has been on the road to recovery. He just did this interview just about a week ago, and he's telling us all these things that he was struggling with drug addiction and whatnot back in 2009, and since then it's been about 2 decades now. He's been clean. He's been doing the right things. He's been on the road to recovery. He said this just about a week ago. And now we're seeing that this match, you're watching it right now on your screen, guys. This match happens, and he's lights out. This is very similar to the match that we saw between Hardy and Sting in TNA Wrestling during his dark days, by the way, when he was dealing with a lot of demons, when he was dealing with a lot of addiction problems. And now we're seeing this. It's crazy. It's the same thing that's happened, and he's been released. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. He deserved a Universal Championship match. It's funny you said that, David, because Jeff Hardy said time and again that he wants to face Brock Lesnar before he retires, and he wants to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship before he retires. It's horrible. He wanted that match really badly, just like you say here. He had been wanting this match. Every single interview Jeff Hardy did with the WWE, he said that he wanted to wrestle Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in a one-on-one match before he retired. And, as we can see here, his final match turned out to be in the same ring with Roman Reigns. It's sad. But the question here is, you don't believe what WWE said? Yeah, you never know the politics and stuff, right? But guys, the question here is: a lot of people are quick to say that, hey, Jeff Hardy is going to go to All Elite Wrestling. He's going to be All Elite. He's going to join his brother Matt. The question is All Elite Wrestling going to hire Jeff Hardy after these accusations, after getting to know about all the demons that he's been fighting, all the troubles that he's been facing? Is All Elite Wrestling going to hire Jeff Hardy after watching this match? Is it going to happen? Ask yourself this question before you make an assumption that he's going to join his brother Matt Hardy in All Elite Wrestling. It seems very unlikely. And if you know AEW and Tony Khan, they tried their best to stay out of trouble themselves. So would they want to have Jeff Hardy right now? I don't think so. I don't think so right now. I hope he goes somewhere where he can have one more major run. I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. But the thing is that, is he capable of having one more major run at the moment? We definitely want a good run from him, a substantial run from him. But look at this match right here. He was in a rough shape. You in such a bad shape. He's not even able to tag his partners in because he was lights out. This is reminiscent of the TNA Sting match that we saw between Sting and Jeff Hardy. And again, just like I said earlier, WWE did offer him help, did offer him rehab. He said no. He declined any sort of help, which is why they had to finally come to the decision of releasing Jeff Hardy. And WWE has actually released a statement, regarding the release, which we'll be taking a look at right after this video of this match is over. And this video, for those of you who are joining us right now, this video is from Jeff Hardy's match this past Saturday, which basically caused all the trouble, and which is how things went south for Hardy. This match took place this past Saturday in Texas. It was a six-man tag team match. It was between Jeff Hardy, Drew McIntyre, King Xavier Woods versus Usos, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline. And Jeff Hardy, as you can see, once he was tagged into the match, he was super sluggish. He was not able to take commands. He was not able to take instructions. He was not responding to the people who were, basically telling him things in his ear, instructing him what to do next, tag their partners in. He was not able to take those instructions. He was not able to deliver his own moves. He was not able to sell his opponent's moves. And that basically caused all the difference, guys. Just look at it. This is a fan video once again, and as you can see, Drew McIntyre here is trying to get the hot tag in. And what happened during this match was, because Jeff Hardy was so out of the match, security had to come in. And as you can see right here, I mean, look at this. Look at the security right here. Walk past the ring. They come in and they take Jeff Hardy out of the match. You can see this guy here, ringside. He's walking back and forth. Exactly, right? He's walking back and forth. And he knows he has to take Jeff Hardy out of the ring. That's what he's been instructed to do. Drew McIntyre literally begging. He's trying his best to basically sell the match to the fans when Jeff Hardy is not able to do so. And it's just horrible. It's sad. My heart breaks for Hardy. Jeff Hardy could go to Impact Wrestling. I think Impact would benefit from it. Definitely. They need somebody like Hardy. But right now, what Hardy needs is help. And Jeff Hardy has declined the help. WWE, just like I said earlier, has offered Jeff Hardy help. They offered him rehab. He said no. He said he doesn't want a rehab. He doesn't want help. And we can't blame Hardy as well. He's not a bad person. What happens is, when you are in a dark state, when you are in a dark state of mind, at times you think nobody can help you. No one can help you. And when people offer to help, you think it's either too late, or you feel like nobody can help you. You're in such a dark state. You are so deep down into your troubles, or you're so deep down into your lifestyle or whatever, addiction or whatnot. We don't know exactly if Jeff Hardy has been released, or if he was dealing with a drug addiction or something. We don't know if this was a substance abuse yet again. What we know is that he had some troubles this past weekend, as you can see on your screens right now. He was not able to perform live in front of the fans, similar to what happened in his match against Sting in TNA Wrestling. And that is why he has been released. He was offered help. He said no. And yeah, that caused all the difference. So he needs help. Is he going to get help? We don't know, but we can only hope the best for him. And I can only hope that whatever happens next is best for him. I hope that his brother Matt is able to support him. His family is able to support him. It's just weird. It's sad. Yeah, and you can see as the match is over, it was a quick ending, by the way. As soon as Jeff Hardy was taken out of the picture, they ended the match real quick. And you can see it's only King Xavier and McIntyre who are celebrating because Jeff Hardy was taken out of the building through the fans, by the way, not through the stage, not through, the ramp. He was taken through the fans, through the crowd, which is very, very unheard of. Very unheard of. Yes, so he has been released. That's right. It's heartbreaking. Fire wins. This is insane, right, William? It's crazy. Go to AEW as well. Hardys versus Young Bucks. Yeah, that's a match that we would love to see. But again, guys, we don't know the situation. We don't know how bad it is. We don't know what he's dealing with right now. It is insane. It is crazy. It's something that we don't want to ever hear about Jeff Hardy. But it's happened. He has been released from the company. And, guys, let's take a look at some of the articles that are going around right now. And let's see what the media is saying about Jeff Hardy. What are they saying? What is the situation with Hardy? Let's take a look at the various websites, various media that are talking about it. Just 1 second, guys. All right, so first let's take a look at the website New York Post. And let's see what do they say about this whole situation. Jeff Hardy has been released from WWE, says New York Post. A source with the knowledge of the situation tells the Post. That's right. According to a source, WWE presented Hardy with the option of either going to rehab, and Jeff Hardy declined. As I said earlier, WWE did offer him help. They did offer him, to go to rehab, and he declined. And that is why he was released from the contract. Just like I said earlier, guys, when we are in such situations at times, we don't know if anything can help us, right? And that's probably what Jeff Hardy thought. He thought that, hey, no matter what, nobody's going to be able to help me now, or maybe I don't need help. And that's why he declined. And that is why he was released. And we just saw the match happening a few minutes ago. And this match took place in Texas this past Saturday. And Jeff Hardy was basically lights out. And he was escorted out of the building midway, and he was sent back home. What else does this report say? It says Matt Hardy, who currently works for AEW, provided an update on his brother Jeff during his Twitch stream. And it says, Matt Hardy said, I did speak to Jeff for a little bit today, and he's okay. He's good. I think he'll be fine. But once again, this isn't my business. Once again, guys, this is weird with Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy because there are times. So we don't know if this was a substance abuse. They're not really revealing that yet. But from what we know is that this past Saturday he wasn't able to perform. And the way he performed, if you want to call it a performance, was very similar to the match that we saw between himself and Sting back in TNA, which basically, points to one thing and one thing only, that he is dealing with his demons once again. They are back, and he's definitely having some problems. And WWE offered him help. They offered him rehab. He declined. So, yeah, I know. It's really heartbreaking. He must rest, fully recovered. And then if he thinks he's not done yet, then keep going whether in WWE. That's right. That's exactly right. WWE, AEW, Impact, that is a conversation for some other day. Today, what really matters is his own health, his own well-being, and what really matters is that he's not dealing with whatever he's dealing with right now. He's okay. His health-wise, he's okay. Mentally, he's okay, and he's not dealing with the demons. That's most important. And right now, he's not just Jeff Hardy. He's also a husband. He's a father. He's got responsibilities. So it's sad. It's really sad. Thank you. It should be Matt Hardy's business. That's right. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, this is another very interesting and sad part. It's that Rebby Hardy, by the way, Matt Hardy's wife, she does not get along with Jeff Hardy's wife. So that's another thing if you guys didn't know. Matt Hardy's wife and Jeff Hardy's wife, they don't get along at all. They live in separate houses. And from what I heard from one of the sources, my own sources, a few months ago, was that they don't really see each other a lot anymore. And that's because of the wives. They just don't get along anymore. So, yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy. But Matt Hardy said that, whatever happens, it is not his business. And he says, this isn't my business. And if he wants to go into more detail, then he'll do it himself. So Matt Hardy even declined to give an update or provide an explanation for whatever is happening or whatever happened this past Saturday. Jeff is okay. He is at home. He is okay. It's not my business. So if you look at it, Matt Hardy said it not once, not twice, but a lot of times during this little statement, he said, it is not my business. So that's all he cares about. It is not my business. It is not my story. You see, guys, this is not him basically looking out for his brother. It's not him giving an update on his brother. It's him basically telling the fans, it's not my business. Stop asking me. It's not my story to tell or explain. And besides that, I wouldn't be able to do it justice anyway because it's not from my perspective. So I love my brother and I want my brother to be okay and healthy. Heartbreaking, right? I mean, we grew up watching Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys. We saw their entrance at WrestleMania. I believe what WrestleMania 33, correct, in New Orleans. It was great. We have seen them through their ups and through their downs. But now what we see with Matt is basically he's like he's going back. He doesn't want anything to do with Jeff Hardy anymore, and it's heartbreaking to say the least. It's crazy. You know what, guys? I'm gonna look at my own email because I often get updates from the WWE and press releases from them. So I'm gonna take a look at my email right now as I speak to you guys, just to see if WWE actually left a press release in my inbox because they often do that. So if they have, I'm gonna share that email with you as we're talking right now. All right. No, so I don't have any email regarding Jeff Hardy's release. I no, the last press release I got from the WWE was about the NIL class, the first NIL class that they actually signed yesterday, but no email, no press release regarding Jeff Hardy's release. And that's interesting because often or always, whenever a WWE superstar is released, you do see on Twitter, you do see on all these places that, hey, you know what, we have come to terms with Jeff Hardy or whatever on the release, and we wish them good luck on their future endeavors. If you look at WWE's Twitter right now, it's nothing. There's nothing. You don't see any future endeavor post. You don't see anything. There is no press release on the website. There's no press release that's been sent out to the media. Nothing. Nothing. Jeff Hardy has been released, and WWE is keeping quiet. They're quiet about it. They're not talking about it, which again is weird. Is that weird as it gets? It's crazy. It is insane. Right. It's very sad. The wives should get along. In an ideal world, they should, but they don't, and can't help it. WrestleMania 33 in Florida, right? We all got goosebumps. I don't know any wrestling fan who did not jump up and scream when they actually made their return at WrestleMania 33. It's great. It's great. But now, if you look at, if you just Google it, Google Jeff Hardy, all you see is that he's been released. There is no solid, um, you know, input from the WWE. They haven't really sent out a press release. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what state of mind he's in right now. We don't know anything, actually. Since we're talking right now, let's actually take a look at Twitter and let's see how the fans on Twitter are reacting. Let's see how the wrestlers are reacting. Let's take a look. All right, so yeah, we just see people basically sharing the news that Jeff Hardy has been released. All right. Yeah, most of the people here, all they're saying is, we hope that everything is well with him personally. Alex McCarthy says WWE has released Jeff Hardy. They also report that Jeff Hardy was offered help and rehab, just like I said earlier, and we also looked at the article from New York Post. He was offered help and rehab, but he declined. I'm hoping the very, very best for Jeff. That's right, a childhood hero for a lot of people out there. Hello, good to see you. What is being said is Jeff Hardy refused to go into rehab. That's correct. That is what is being said right now. He refused to go into rehab. And if you watch, we actually looked at the match from this past Saturday just a few minutes ago, and Jeff Hardy was lights out. He was not in that match. He was not in the building. He was somewhere else. He was lost. And, we don't know yet, by the way, guys. Heads up. We don't know if this is a case of substance abuse. We don't know if he was intoxicated, if he was under any kind of an influence heading into that match. None of that has been disclosed. It is all assumptions right now. We know nothing. All we know is that WWE offered him rehab, offered him help. He declined. And usually, they offer wrestlers rehab just for one reason, and you guys know that reason very well. It's the demons, most likely the demons that Jeff Hardy has been fighting with for a long time. Seems like they're back, and it's horrible. It's heartbreaking. Important thing is Jeff Hardy gets all his help he needs. We want him back. Help, yeah, that's right. It's crazy, it's scary, and you're absolutely right. Doesn't matter AEW, WWE, Impact, that all is secondary. What's first and primary is his health. And that's we can all only hope for, that it gets better. IC title, Jeff Hardy. Yeah, right. Good times. We've seen great stuff from Jeff Hardy. Yeah, people are shocked on Twitter. You just see shocks. People are shocked. People are commenting about it. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, look at Twitter right now. People are just, it's worse than I thought, right? I mean, when I looked at all these reports, we did not comment on it. We did not report on all these reports because I felt like it was kind of blowing out of proportion. Because had it been a substance abuse, usually WWE is pretty quick to suspend people. Usually they're pretty quick to, make it a policy violation and suspend them or fine them or whatever and make a press release about it. WWE did nothing of that sort. So when this match happened and people were talking about it, I thought that people are overreacting because had it been anything more serious, we would have received something, a press release, some word from the WWE itself. They did nothing of that sort. They did not suspend him. There was no fine. There was no press release. Nothing. We still don't know if he was under the influence heading into that match. We know nothing about it. We don't know if he was drunk. We don't know if he was under the influence of any kind of drugs. Nothing. We just know that he was not able to perform that night, and WWE offered him rehab. Everything else is being kept behind the curtain. We know nothing of that sort. No dirt sheet has reported on it. If you're reading it, it's probably fake because they have not revealed it. For certain, from any reliable source, we don't know if Jeff Hardy was under the influence or anything of that sort. I mean, nothing like that. We just know that he was offered help and offered rehab, which he declined. We talk about where Jeff Hardy goes to AEW or somewhere. That's right. All he needs is help. All he needs is to fight his demon. I know, David, you're feeling it right now. I know. And guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this whole situation with Jeff Hardy is very similar. And I'm actually trying to pull it up right now. Uh, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I would like to show you. Yeah, I found it. This is heartbreaking. I don't want to bring this up, but I have to, and I must, because this is something that happened in the past, and we cannot run away from the past. We should face it and we should talk about it because we don't want Jeff Hardy to end up in a very similar fashion. But what's happened and what's happened today is very similar to WWE Superstar. We all love him. We all loved him, and his name was Umaga. So, and this headline right here reads that he has been hospitalized in a life threatening condition, and that's because Umaga needed help. He needed help, and he refused to get help. He refused to get help. I would like to point you guys to this very part of the article which talks about Umaga and what happened to him. So this article is before Umaga passed away, unfortunately. This article is from the time that he was actually admitted to the hospital. Let's read the whole article, and then I would like to tell you how this whole situation, or maybe I won't even have to tell you, you guys will understand how this situation with Umaga is very, very similar to the situation with Jeff Hardy. Let's take a look. All right. So here it says that, so again, the article is Umaga was hospitalized in a life threatening condition. What it says here is that it's been reported from various news outlets that former superstar Umaga has been hospitalized in his life threatening condition. Details are not clear. And he was rushed out of his hospital after blood was coming out of his nose and he was not able to breathe. Many believe it was drug related simply because he has a history with drugs. So, and we know it did not end well. We know it did not end well. And the reason why I'm actually pointing this out right now is because of this part of the article. He was released, Umaga was released by the WWE months ago because he failed a wellness policy for the second time. And when he was offered help, offered rehab, he refused. And Jeff Hardy, who has refused help now, back then as well, in this very article, you can see it's the next paragraph on this article. What does it say? And I have goosebumps as I'm reading this right now because it is such a scary, scary thing. It's very scary. Back then, back when Umaga passed away, basically, and he was, he was released from the company months before he passed away because of wellness policy failure, and he declined help. He declined rehab. That very same year, Jeff Hardy had also refused rehab. He had also refused help when he was caught. And Jim Ross, who was the head of talent relations back then, good old JR, he told Hardy that he would have to go to rehab or leave the company. And Jeff Hardy chose to leave the WWE instead of rehab. Can you? It's too. This is deja vu right now. Deja vu as I'm talking to you guys. I cannot believe it. This very same thing happened years ago. Jeff Hardy refused rehab. He refused help back then as well. And when Jim Ross asked him if he wanted to go to rehab, get help from the company, or he wanted to leave the company, it says very clearly here that Jeff Hardy chose to leave the WWE instead of go to rehab. What are we seeing right now? What are we talking about right now? What have we been talking about for the past 40 minutes? Is that Jeff Hardy refused rehab. He declined rehab. And that's why he's been released from the WWE. This is not the first time this has happened, guys. Jeff Hardy is fighting his demons. He's been fighting his demons for a long time. And what's happened tonight, what's happening right now is the same thing that happened years ago, decades ago. The same thing is happening yet again, all over again. And it says here, Jeff Hardy left the WWE and was said to have gotten clean before he went to TNA Wrestling. When he left TNA and came back to WWE, he failed another test, which resulted him in a suspension and also kept him out of WrestleMania. And again, Umaga was released under very similar circumstances. He refused help. This was back in 2009. Jeff Hardy in 2009 was released because he declined any help. He declined rehab. He chose to be released from the WWE and he declined rehab. And the very same thing is happening all over again. I'm listening to no more words, yeah. I have no more words. Actually, as I'm reading this right now, I'm listening to no more words. I have no more words. Jeff Hardy is fighting his demons, and we're just here talking. He should be getting the help that he deserves. We don't need his brother Matt Hardy saying that he cannot comment on Jeff Hardy. He cannot talk on behalf of Jeff Hardy because it's not his business. Matt Hardy is his brother. He's got to help Jeff Hardy. His former employers, I don't care if WWE is a former employer. I hope that they give him help because he needs help. He's been fighting his demons for decades. This very same thing happened in 2009 with Jeff Hardy, where he was found, violating their drug policy, and he was given two choices. In 2009, Jeff Hardy was asked, "Do you want to go to rehab or you want to get released?" He said, "I want to get released," and he was released from the company. And 2021 right now, guys, over 2 decades later, what are we seeing? Do you want to stay with the company or do you want to leave the company? He says, "I want to leave the company." I have no more words. I'm heartbroken right now. This is a very similar situation to 2009. This is a very similar situation to Umaga, who was also released from the company in 2009. And months later, Umaga left us. I want the best for Hardy. I want the best for Jeff. I want him to get help. And I hope he does, because right now, things don't look good for Jeff Hardy. They don't look good. And I literally am short of words. I'm a bit emotional as I talk about Jeff Hardy right now, because Jeff Hardy is not just a wrestler. He's a childhood hero and somebody that a lot of children, a lot of longtime wrestling fans have looked up to and idolized for a long time. I'm out of words right now. Well, hopefully we get to see something positive from Jeff Hardy in the near future, and hopefully he's able to get his life back in order. And we see him soon enough. We see him on TV once again. And until then, hopefully he's able to go clean and get the help that he deserves. This is Ras saying from Wrestling News, and thanks for listening. And we will be back tonight for a live watch along for Impact Wrestling. And we'll be back whenever there's a breaking news like this one coming up. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and it's been a pleasure reporting, talking to you guys, and hopefully Jeff Hardy gets the help that he needs. Thank you, and take care.